You have a ton of shading, right? So that you at least know where you're shading. If you don't know where to shade, you'll pull the answer to the wrong region and you'll be wrong. Yeah? So the shading is important. Now, we can use symbols, like an intersection. We can use words, like an intersection, or we can use the word and. So they're interchangeable. So we practice all the different ones. So what we practiced so far was symbols. Now we're going to practice what if I give you words. What does that look like? So here it says use the following Venn diagram. This is P, this is Q. I could have P outside or Q outside. Either way, it shows that the left is P and the right is Q. Okay? They have dots behind the numbers. There's more than one number in a region. If there's more than one number in a region, those are elements. Like the number 1 and 10 falls in P and Q, 1, 10, 7, and 29 fall in Q, right? Sometimes they don't give the elements, they give the number of elements, so it'll just be one number, like a 4, a 2, an 8. So it means that 8, there are 8 elements here, there are 2 elements here, there are 10 elements here. Very different than if you list them. All right. So here it says, use the Venn diagram to list the elements of the following sets. So set P, what are the elements in P? Does it say P only or does it say P? It says P, correct? So what's in P? 1, what else? That's a highlighter. That's not going to help. Go away. So that's the P circle. So it's 1, 2, 8, 9, 10, right? Okay, you guys give me the symbols for the rest. So this is Q, that's fine. P and Q, what does that look like? P, what? P intersection Q, correct? You can do a symbol for it. What about this one? P union Q. Not P. How could we write that as symbols? P complement. Yeah? What about not Q? It would be Q complement. Not P and not Q? Not P and not Q. So that one we're going to have to change around because that's not the helpful way, right? This one's not P or not Q. How is this different than that one? Not P or Q. How will we write that one out? Anyone know? Is it the same as this one? Not P or not Q? No, this is not P or Q. When it was not P, I went P complement, correct? If it's not P or Q, I'm going to go P or Q complement. And then not P and Q is P and Q complement. Can you guys list the numbers that would fall in those, please? Check and see if you're getting them right. So Q is the whole Q circle. So it's 1, 7, 10, 29. And we need the squiggly brackets, the curly brackets, because it means the set of numbers, and then you list the elements in between, right? If I asked for the number of elements in Q, you would say 4 without the squiggly brackets, right? Because if you put the squiggly brackets around it and said 4, then you would be telling me that the element 4 is in Q, and it's not, right? So if you're listing the elements, you use the curly brackets. If I ask you how many elements, you just say 4, 10, 2, no curly brackets, all right? P and Q, and is the eyeball. So we have 1 and 10. P or Q is the snowman. So we have 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 29. Not P is everything but P. So I cover up P and list it, including the outside. So 7, 11, 16, 29. Some people will forget the 11 and the 16. 7, 11, 16, 29. Remember, it's everything but P, including the outside. Not Q, you cover up Q and list everything not in Q. So it would be 2, 8, 9, 11, and 16. not P and Q, not, I would rewrite it as P, Q, the not outside, and the and becomes an or. So I want what's not in the snowman, correct? Which is just 11 and 16. Which is exactly the same as this, 11 and 16. I don't know why I didn't put the brackets. Not P or not Q is the same as P, Q, put the not outside, and the or symbol becomes an and. So it's not P and Q, so I cover up the eyeball and list everything else. So I get 2, 7, 8, 9, 11, 16, and 29. The only numbers I'm not counting are 1 and 10. And then H and J are the exact same, the same answer. So which two pair sets are identical? G and I, H and J. Okay. Now a lot of these are word problems. So do you see how this Venn diagram has 12, 3, and 7 in it? So does it mean 12 is the only element in S, 7 is the element in Y only, 3 is the element in S and Y? Or does that mean the number of people or items or objects? Yeah, so this is different than the previous one in just the way they set up the Venn diagram. So let's read it. It says the diagram displays the number of students who are members of the student council and the number of students who are on the yearbook committee. Answer these questions. Go. So it says how many students are on student council? Does it say student council only? If it said student council only, I would pick 12. Yes? But it says student council. So I have to go to the student council circle, and how many is it? 15. Do I expect you guys making mistakes? Yeah, you're just learning. This isn't like the test or quiz or homework, right? So I expect oopsies to happen. You're trying it on your own. The next one says, on both student council and yearbook committee. Student council and yearbook, snowman. Is that snowman? Is it an and? What's and? Eyeball. So what's the eyeball? 3. The next one says, on the yearbook committee, but not on student council. So that's on yearbook, but not on student council. We have a complement, and we have an and. So that's going to be a crescent moon, correct? And it says, if it says on the yearbook committee, but not on student council, that's also a fancy way of saying yearbook only. Like if it says yearbook committee, but not on student council, that's yearbook only. That's their fancy way of saying yearbook only, or this. So yearbook only is how many? Yearbook, but not student council, is yearbook only. Crescent moon. And then the last one says student council or yearbook. Or is what shape? Snowman. So we're doing 12 plus 3 plus 7, which equals 22. Yeah? Okay, we're going to flip over. All right, pencils down listening. Because this question comes up a lot in the diploma where they give you the and, so then we have to figure out what we do. So whenever this is not a filled-in diagram, right? There is no Venn diagram. There's just a word problem, right? So we need to set up our Venn diagram. So this one here says, in a homeroom of 20 students is the what? The total, right? It's what your Venn diagram, when you add everything up, should equal. Yes? So you can pick your pencil up, and we're going to write total. Then we're going to put our pencil down. Now here it says 15 take math. Does it say math only? No? So that's the math circle, right? The whole circle. 15 take math. So that's the math circle. You pick your pencil back up. Then put it down once you're done writing. It just makes me know when I can move on. Okay. Then 12 takes social. Does that say social only? No, so that'll be the social circle, the whole circle, correct? So you can pick it back up. And put it down so I know you're done writing. And then it says 10 take math and social. What shape is that? Math and social. And is the eyeball, right? So basically, 10 in eyeball. Help us out. So it's shown in a Venn diagram. Now, we always have to start in the inside out. So you always start off with the smallest pieces of your Venn diagram, working your way out. So when we go to do a Venn diagram, we're going to draw a box. We're going to do circles. The only way you can use M and S is if you say, let M represent math and S represent social. You can't just use M and S and assume they know. So if I'm not going to write that off to the side, then I have to write the full word outside. So I go math and I go social. If you're still revolting against me and putting M and S and you don't have let statements, that's a problem. You'll lose marks. Can't use M and S unless you go let M represent math, let S represent social, so you let them know. Okay? I also will help myself, and I'll put a 20 out here just to help myself. Remember that that whole thing needs to add to 20. Yeah? All right. Now, you have to start in the middle first. So in two circle bends, we have to know the and. We have to fill in the eyeball first. What is the eyeball? How many are in the eyeball? 10. So I put a 10 in here. The reason why we have to fill that in, can everyone put your pencils down once you put the 10 in? I need you to pay attention. The reason why we have to put that 10 in there is those kids, yeah, they're taking math and social, true, but they've already took math and they've also taken social. So they still count in the math circle and they still count in the social circle, correct? So when I say that 15 took math in the math circle, if I put, do not do this because it's wrong, if I put a 15 here, how many took math? 25. Did 25 take math? No. So I don't put a 15 here. What do I put here? 5. Now when I look in the math circle, it has 15, correct? So if I don't start off with that middle, I don't know how many to take off. That's my 15. Make sense? In the social circle, I need to have 12. I already have how many? 10. So how many are in just the social part of it? 2. So technically, the 5 represents math only, or math and not social. The 2 represents social only, or social and not math, right? Because it's that crescent moon. 10 represents the inside. And now, when you have a two-circle Venn diagram, two-circle Venn diagrams always have to have 4 numbers in them. I currently have how many? 3. I need a 4th. I need the outside. How could I get that? Yeah. Yes. There's 20 students total. In the circles, in the snowman, you have 17. So it leaves 3 that don't take social or math, which can happen. Not a math class, but. So we always have to remember that when we are filling in two circle Venn diagram, we have to have 4 numbers, and then we can move on. If we only have 3, we still need to find a 4th. Yeah? Because even if there's no one outside, you have to put a 0. Sometimes it says every person in the class of 20 takes math or social. Well, then on the outside, you just have a 0, right? Okay. Now here it says, how many students take neither math nor social? How many would it be? That 3, that outside. You don't just write 3, it's a word problem. You'll write 3 students, and you don't write just 3 students. That's where we lose marks in 30-2, is lazy sentences. So I don't want you to lose marks. And you don't have to be great at English to do this, you just restate what they asked you. So 3 students take neither math nor social. Done. Okay, the next one's where we're going to have to use brain matter, a little bit extra. But we repeat it so many times that by the end of the unit you can do these easily. But right now it's going to seem like a harder question. Okay? I told you that we always have to start at the and portion and then work our way out to the singles, and then we can do the outside. Yes? Okay, let's talk about this one. In a survey of 400 households, that's just the total, right? So I'm going to say total. My stomach is growling. It's making weird noises. 400 households. $285 had tablets. $320 had printers. $63 did not have tablets or printers. Okay, so let's go to fill in our Venn diagram. So I put a box around it. I need tablets. I need printers. I can put 400 outside to help me. Okay, and then I start at the and. So how many people have tablets and printers? Trick question. We have no clue. They didn't give it to us, right? So this makes the question a bit harder when they don't give you the and. You have to find it. Okay? So, everyone put your pencils down. I'm going to make you visualize what's happening because it usually makes it easier for people. Okay. So there's 400 households surveyed, yes? So this is what happens. When everyone comes up to be surveyed, we'll pretend they're putting in a little piece of paper. They can put in up to 2 pieces of paper, right? Because they could put in tablet, printer, right? So say I have a tablet at home, I come here, I put in tablet. Then I walk away. That's all I have is a tablet. Okay? Next person comes up out of the 400 households. So now I'm at household 2. I have a tablet and a printer. I put in a T and a P. So I just put in 2 tickets. So now we have 3 tickets in, even though 2 people came up here. Yeah? Okay, third person comes up, and they put in an N for neither. Just rocking a printer, tablet, free home. You know what I mean? Then the next person comes in and puts printer. And the next person comes in and puts printer, and puts in tablet. So currently I'm running with 2 extra tickets than people, because 2 people put in 2 tickets, yes? So to find that overlap, you have to add up all these tickets and subtract the number of people who came up here and put in tickets, right? Because then you'll find out how many overlaps there were. Make sense? So let's look at this example. This example has people coming up and they put in 285 tablet tickets. Like they're counting this up, right? Like they bucket and they start counting. There's 285 tablet tickets. Cool. 200 tickets with T on it. Yes? Then there's 320 tickets with P on it for printers. Yeah? And then there's 63 who put in N's. Yeah? I'm going to add these up. So why would I not line that up? And then I'm going to add up all the tickets that got put in. Does that make sense? The T tickets, the P tickets, the N tickets. That's all the options I have. So I have 8, and then I have 16, and then I have 668. That's a lot of tickets. Yeah? How many people walked up and put in tickets? 400. So how many put in too many? How many put in 2, I guess? 268. What did you do? You took the total number of tickets, you subtracted off the people, and we found out that 268 of them put in 2 tickets. Those are the people who put in a P and a T, right? What happened if I added up all the T's, the P's, and the nones, and it equaled 400? How many would be in both? How many would have both? None. You'd actually have 2 separate circles. There'd be no overlap. What happens if I counted them up and I had less than 400? Is that possible? No, you'd say, who's the idiot who didn't put in their little papers? Because I have to have at least 400 papers. Everyone has to either put in a T, a P, or an N at minimum, right? So we have 268 in the middle. So sometimes you are asked to find that and first. How do you know? Because you can't fill in the Venn diagram unless you have an and. Right? So 268 half full. How do I find out how many have just tablets? Tablets only. What do I do? How many have tablets total? 285. How many have tablets and already have a printer too, which we don't really care about? 268. So I have to subtract them because the tablet circle needs to add up to 285. So what's 285 subtract 268? What do you get? 17? All right. Printers needs to add up to 320. I already have 268 in there. So how do I find printers only? I go 320 minus 268. Now, everyone can you pay attention for 1 second here? I see a lot of people do this. 320 minus 268, and then they put the answer here and they circle it. They're going to take marks off on you. You can't show your math in the Venn diagram. It can just be a number. You might be like, well, that's stupid. All right. So we can't have it. But when we do subtract them, what number do we get? Pardon? I'll wait. I'll be one of those people. How much? 52. So we have 3 numbers. How do we get the 4th number? Yeah. It's just 63 because they gave it to us. Now we should double check our numbers. What should these add up to? 400. Go. Add your 4 numbers. Did it work out? Did you get 400? Perfect. Okay, let's answer these questions. Determine the amount of households that had tablets and printers. Which number represents that? Tablets and printers. 268 is what we found, the eyeball. Now this one's tablets, but not printers. So that's the same as saying tablets only. The tablet crescent moon, which is how many? 17. Tablets or printers. Or is what shape? The snowman. So you can either add these 3 up or you can go 400 minus 63, right? 337.